I thought it was normal for everyone to skip school or jump from school to school every month.
Adoption is one of the most beautiful things that I can think of. And it's just a beautiful picture of unconditional love and the gospel and just beauty from ashes. But it can come with a lot of things that are hard that people don't always want to talk about.
Foster care and adoption impact hundreds of thousands of children across the United States. More than 390,000 children are in foster care nationwide. In Arkansas alone, thousands of children are still waiting for stable homes. Behind those numbers are real stories, each one different. Some begin at birth, and others come after years of uncertainty.
My parents told me from a really young age, so it wasn't something where it was ever hidden from me or anything like that.
For Micah Stevens, adoption was something he always knew. He was adopted at birth, raised in a stable home with a clear understanding of his story.
I told this to her actually. Told her I would never have any bad feelings towards her for putting me up for adoption or any of that, because the life that I was given was amazing. And even if I didn't get a great life, if I would have ended up in a foster care system, I still think that I would have been grateful for that decision because it's what she felt was right.
But for others, the path to adoption looks very different.
I stayed in the same school and I had the same bed in the same environment, and it changed the trajectory of my life. It gave me time to stabilize.
Heather Schrader entered the foster care system as a child, moving between homes and schools before eventually being adopted.
I didn't realize that I was even capable academically because I didn't remain in the same school district long enough to even get grades to know where I was academically.
In most cases, adoption is not the first step. The goal of the foster care system is reunification, returning children to their biological families when it's safe. That process can take months and sometimes even years.
The goal is always first and foremost reunification with the birth parents, the biological mom or dad.
Maggie Peeler worked inside that system as a caseworker, and later she became a foster parent.
Foster care is a very broken system, in my opinion. I think in the opinion of anybody you talk to. And, laws are made and changed and try to look good, but also in my experience and opinion, there are things that can look and sound really good on paper, but when that's playing out in someone's life, it may not be so good.
Decisions are often made with good intentions, but outcomes do not always match policy.
I've seen a lot of kids get sent back home where there hasn't really been any change at all. And so, to me, I feel like we're just re-traumatizing kids. We've pulled them out of this, and they've got to see, hopefully, in their foster home, normalcy and consistency and all these things that we took them from not having, and then we put them right back into.
Even when adoption becomes the goal, those challenges still remain.
A lot of times they would say, I love my brother or my sister or all my brothers and my sisters, but I really am just tired of being in foster care.
When we were taken into care, I have 3 siblings. There weren't homes open, and so we were split up, and that was extremely difficult for me as the oldest and the caretaker for my siblings. Being away from them, it's just another blow of trauma.
Every child in the system carries a different experience, and in many cases, trauma begins earlier than people realize.
When you adopt a child from foster care specifically, even if you get that child at birth, there has been trauma in that child's life.
For children adopted later in life, that adjustment can be even more difficult.
Whenever you go through an adoption process at birth, your life is essentially the exact same as a quote-unquote normal child. I think that you go through growing up, you go through kind of learning what the household values are, what those sorts of things are. You go through all that process with the same family. It's consistent. Everything's smooth sailing for the most part.
And even after adoption, healing takes time.
It's challenging for adoptive parents and foster parents to connect with a child that believes that they're temporary, that everything is contingent on a court order, or everything's contingent on the say of someone else, when love, you know, that has no contingencies. Like, there's no nothing hinges on whether or not, you can't make your mom so mad that she calls a DCFS worker and they come get you and take you away. But that is a reality in some temporary, everything feels so temporary all of the time for these kids that are adopted out of foster care, that when they're home with their adoptive family, and it takes a while to adjust from temporary into it's okay if I mess up, it's okay if I have big feelings, it's okay if I have a bad grade. Yeah, they're not going to leave me. They're not going to, you know, switch me out for a new kid. They're not going to leave. That's earning the trust of these kids and it was difficult to earn mine. To this day, I'm still leery of everyone's intentions. And it stems from having to protect myself as a kid that was constantly in fight or flight. I know that there are many barriers that adoptive and foster families face with these kids, but if I could highlight one, it's gaining that trust and building that true connection that, you know, it takes more work, a lot more work.
There is also a shift happening in how adoption is understood.
I think there definitely is a stigma that is a little bit negative around adoption, but I think that it's all kind of situation based, and I think that I think it's becoming more of a positive stigma versus a negative stigma, where I think that's kind of where it used to be, and we're shifting to a little bit more of a positive stigma around adoption.
Experts say education and honesty are key.
Meeting that child where they are, like treating every child as an individual, making sure they have what they need, and being open. I think, you know, back in the day, I think adoption was a very taboo subject, but I think research has shown, studies have shown, being open with your child about their story ultimately sets them up for more success.
And for many, awareness starts with something simple: listening.
You can spit out statistics and, you know, people can, oh, that's a shocking number, but whenever you really open up and you tell these stories from a first person perspective of this woman who had way too much on her plate, took me in when I was 8 years old and cared for me, that seems like a baseline, like a really basic need that was met. But in the long run, I was able to build on that. My identity didn't hinge on being the foster kid or being the odd one out. When people step into these missions and when they step into adoption or when they step into foster care, they're coming face to face with something that a lot of people, I wouldn't say ignore, but are uncomfortable with. It's a hard truth to face, but the awareness portion really got a lot easier when I opened up about my personal experiences and showed the victory of the passion that I have now and what I'm doing now, and how it's transitioned into the confidence to lead a city and run for mayor, and just the sky's the limit. I didn't want any of that to ever, the feeling of being unwanted or forgotten, or seeing other family dynamics function around me and wondering what my family was. It's a sad story until you get to today, when it's not so sad. And if it weren't for really good people stepping in, they weren't perfect people. They were just people that were doing the best they could and loved me. That if it weren't for those people that said yes, I wouldn't have the success or the turnaround story. It took someone stepping up.
For the children still waiting, that one decision can change everything.